Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. One of the last films in the DCEU, whatever it was called, was The Flash. It was an abysmal film. It was woeful, terribly written, terribly acted, awful CGI, garbage story. It was shit all round, to be perfectly honest. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty goddamn bad. The director hasn't really said much since that film. It's Andy Muschietti, but he has now come out and basically justified the film's box office failure in a spectacular way. And it doesn't give me much confidence for Batman, the Brave and the Bold, which is what he's supposed to be doing in future. So I thought we'd take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here, folks. Or indeed, if you are a returning viewer. I can see you all from my analytics, and there's quite a lot of you. It'd be great to have you here more often. So hit that subscribe button. Anyway, so this article, I actually spotted these quotes floating around yesterday, although I didn't see the full quote. This was new. It's the result of a mental health situation. That's new. I didn't see that last night. And I got tagged in this over on Twitter, but got the full quotes here, and it's quite, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's nonsense. His justification is nonsense, but it's still fun and funny. So as the article says whether you happen to feel that the movie gets a bit of a bad rap or not, there's no denying that The Flash proved to be a major misstep. It was a huge bomb. Huge bomb. $271 million worldwide, and it cost reportedly $220 million. It was probably well over that. It was probably well over $220 million. But either way, even if you take their low-end estimate of $200 million, that's $400 million to break even. I remember it had a Super Bowl advert. If you look into how much Super Bowl adverts cost, they are insanely expensive. So the marketing was huge for this film. Bare minimum of $100 million for the marketing. And that's like a way cheap estimate. I'd be surprised if the marketing for The Flash wasn't $200 million, which I know sounds insane, but just do some research. That genuinely does happen. So $271 million, $200 million budget, conservative estimate, cheap conservative estimate, plus marketing on top of it. This movie's needed somewhere in the region of $600 to $800 million to break even, and it did $271 million worldwide. Disaster. Bloody disaster. It was an absolute joke of a film. But anyway, here's some interesting stuff. So the director, Andy Muschietti, has spoken in depth about the movie's failure for the first time. And the filmmaker believes that a number of factors beyond his control contributed to the overall negative reception. Mate, some self-awareness, boy. Like, we're going to do Flashpoint, but it's not going to be Flashpoint. Why? Why did you do that? That's dumb. What a disaster. So the video interview was recorded in Spanish, so it's possible that some things may have been lost in translation. But we do have a translation now. So he says the following, right? And we'll just go bit by bit. So he says, it's the result of a mental health situation, you know. Talking about Ezra Miller. It turned out the way it turned out. Let's say. I mean, they mean he, as in Ezra Miller. He was dealing with a mental health situation. And well, when you make a movie, there are things you just can't control. One of them is when actors have a public relations crisis. Is that what you call it? Being accused of grooming people? Mate. Ezra Miller's career is never going to recover. Ever. You know, he got into trouble, was arrested in Hawaii, etc., etc. I had, in general, a very good experience with him. He's a great actor, a great comedian. I was very surprised by him, but then, towards the end, I came across all of this. I don't know quite what he's saying there, like whether he's throwing him under the bus a little bit or not, but it's a lot of cope anyway. And then continues further. So, I'd say this happened months before the release, just before the premiere, and well, it was a setback. Later, other factors piled up, like, you know, the fatigue with the superhero genre. You're going to blame superhero fatigue, are you? Alright. Years later, I started learning about other things, like how when a movie like this is made, There's an expectation to appeal to all 4 quadrants of the audience. And this is a movie that, apart from everything else I mentioned, I think failed in the sense that it didn't appeal to all 4 quadrants of the audience. It didn't appeal to anyone. Didn't appeal to anyone at all. But check what he says in terms of the reasoning why. When a $200 million movie is made, the studio expects to bring everyone, even your grandmother, to the theatre. And in private conversations later on, I learned things like how a lot of people weren't interested in the Flash as a character. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. That's why the Flash TV show is done as well as it has for as long as it has. Yeah, no one's interested in the Flash as a character. That's why it's a long-running comic. No one's interested in the Flash, guys. Sorry. That's the issue. Not a shit script. Shit actor. Shit CGI. Shit movie. It's got nothing to do with that, no. I understand that Andy Muschietti's got to be cautious with what he says because he's still working with Warner Brothers and DC. But this is dumb. This is dumb comments. Really, really is dumb. Super, super dumb. No one's interested in Flash as a character, guys. Alright, you're interested in... You're not. Half of those 4 quadrants, the 2 female quadrants, many women didn't care about Flash as a character. What? Are you blaming women now? I'm so confused. These are things that worked against the movie, and I gradually found out about them. But I'm very happy with the movie, and I highly recommend it. No one else does, mate. No one else recommends this movie because it's garbage. It's poo. So no one's interested in the Flash as a character. Studio wanted 4 quadrants, so it bombed. I guess. I don't know. He seems to think like that actor's fine. Yeah. What does he say? Public relations crisis. That's all it was. No, mate. Proper weirdo guy. Never should have been cast. Never should be in Hollywood. This is someone like clearly mentally insane. Or mentally unstable. Disaster. Absolute disaster of a movie. From start to finish. It had like multiple reshoots as well. And then garbage CGI. Garbage story. Like $220 million for that. Ugh. Garbage. But funny. His comments are funny. But it goes to show that his judgment is impaired. So unfortunately, I don't think Batman the Brave and the Bold is going to be any good. Let me know what you think though down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.